It's like, do you want to own a block of granite underneath Manhattan that sits there for 1,000 years? Or do you want to own a building, which is good for 100 years? Or do you want to own a company in the building that's good for 20 years?
Yeah.
And I totally acknowledge that you need the companies, you need the buildings, but you need granite in cyberspace. And the way we figured out how to do it was with energy. So generally people that criticize Bitcoin's energy usage, they don't really understand the nuance between a property and a security. And they don't understand that you have to have a digital property as an ethical foundation. And once you actually address that issue, it's like, well, there's no alternative to that thing. There's a lot of debate and a lot of competition about everything else, but digital property is here to stay. And I don't think that the environmental FUD shuts it down any more than I think the other FUD, right? Crypto crime,
terrorism, it's all terrorism. Everybody uses Bitcoin's a terrorist,
you're seeing that, right? The entire
Absolutely.
Canada thing right now. There is going to be FUD, but ultimately, when people think about it long enough and they hash it out, they'll conclude that Gary Gensler's even said this, right? He said, Satoshi's innovation is real. And the innovation is Nakamoto consensus to create digital property in cyberspace that is owned by no particular entity and is the common property of the world, right? There are other things that are cool. I think people recognize 24/7 trading is useful. I think they understand a cryptocurrency in the form of a stable coin, like a US dollar would be useful, or any kind of digital currency would be useful. And I think they recognize the coolness of DeFi and the coolness of instant atomic swaps and friction-free flash loans alike. It's very cool and very interesting. And that's why we're all here, right? The issue is going to be, how are you going to approach it? And what's the regulatory bump? What's the regulatory impact like that we're going to go through? How bumpy will the ride be over the next 36 to 60 months? Well, I think if we work through this, right, you're going to have digital property, something I want to just buy and hold in lieu of a building or land for a decade. And I think the regulation around that, the uncertainty is generally around laws to transfer it, KYCing it, and then capital gains or tax treatments of it. And right now, that's the laws around digital property are pretty stable since the IRS set the tax treatment for Bitcoin in 2014. In other countries, they may or may not designate it currency or property, but generally it's falling in the property category. I think if you go to the next category, digital currencies, a digital yen, a digital euro, a digital dollar, a digital yuan. I think that there's a lot of flux right now in debate over how that gets treated. And even if you look in the US, the White House, the administration would like FDIC insured banks to issue digital currencies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The Senate would like state issued banks to be able to do this. In Congress, there's a view I've heard that a number of companies, money transfer agents and other companies should be able to do it. And the current status quo is that any of those sort of could, but right now offshore entities are. So there's a political debate about who's going to issue stable coins and how will they be treated. And that debate is going on in a bunch of countries. And how it will shake out is it's kind of unclear. If I put a congressman, a senator, and members of the administration together, they all might have 3 different opinions. You've seen that.